Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Reetin Entertainment Podcast, episode 384 for January 29th, 2023. Joining me this week, we have Andrew Aroah McFain.
I'm the one.
You're the one, and there's a kitty purring.
No, that's Aroah.
Oh, that's Aroah
Yeah,
purring. He's
that's
very
just
happy.
how I breathe.
Oh,
No, he's happy to be here.
Yeah, and of course, we're joined by Connor, the cyberpunk monk Besh.
Hey, it's me. I'm here to talk about the video game and tech news.
Yeah, and of course, I'm your host, Nathan Reetz Ruth. I apologize for not having a episode out last week. I was very sick. I woke up, and then on Saturday I woke up and I was like, man, I am tired. And so like at 2, I decided to take a nap, and then I woke up a few hours later and I was like, man, I feel not refreshed at all. And then I expelled some fluids out of my body, and and then I went back to bed, and I did not feel great. So we did not have a recording last week, but we are back this week. I'm feeling much better. So Aroah, where can we find you?
You can go to a Aroah website where there's a lot of links to stuff and things. Here, let me get the mic a little closer. I got this shitty mic stand off Amazon, and I regret it.
Is it one of those? Is it one of those desk clamp ones, or is it?
It is. It is a desk clamp one, and I was like, it'll be fine because I'll also get a shock mount, and I did.
Oh.
And yeah, it's just it. You can't adjust it. Yes, I know you're a cat. That's great. You can't really adjust it all that well, and it like the worst part is that the very end of it doesn't rotate. Like the only way to rotate it is to rotate the entire stand like this, and it's just awful.
I have a pretty cheap one of the newer stands. Same thing. It's not great, but I make it work.
Yeah, like it's definitely better than my old setup, just because the old mic stand it just sat on the floor, and it was a boom mic, and it like it was fine whenever it was newer, but it's just the stuff that kept it from falling was wearing out. So
Interesting.
I could no longer keep it extended. It acquired some erectile dysfunction.
I see.
I think you might say.
I see. We're gonna move on. We're gonna ask Connor, where can we find you?
Don't you usually ask what those video games we play too?
Yeah, usually
whatever.
Well, yeah, but I ask where we can find you first, and then I ask about the games.
You're blowing it this week. It's all different. Okay,
No,
yeah,
I'm
you
not.
can find me at Aroah website as well. One of those links that I want to draw your attention to is Clinton's Core Classics, a Rise of the Rune Lords First Edition actual play podcast. You can find it wherever podcasts are found, and I would be delighted if you checked it out.
And you can find me, Nathan Reetz Ruth. I'm Reetin everywhere. Reetin on Twitter, Twitch, mainly Twitch. You can find me there Monday through Friday, most weeks, from 6 p.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time. This Tuesday and Wednesday, I will not be there. My office is an hour away from my house, and we have a bunch of like my boss's boss is going to be in town, and we have a couple other IT people, and they're like, so we're bringing in a couple other IT people. We're getting them hotel rooms. Since the office is an hour away, we'll get you a hotel room too. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm getting a free hotel room for a couple of nights. And I'm
nice.
Yeah, so
Is it a love hotel?
No, they're actually pretty. They're like 1-bedroom apartments, basically. You go in.
Just a hotel room.
No, because those are studio apartments. Like most hotel rooms are like studios. This is like a 1-bedroom apartment where it has like a decent sized living room and a bedroom, and it's pretty nice. They're really, and it has like a kitchen, like with a little dishwasher and everything. They're great. I actually really like them.
It'll be perfect for playing your Steam Deck in bed.
It'll be perfect for playing my Steam Deck while waiting for the night to waste away because I'm not streaming. Anyway, Aroah, what games did you play this week? See, we do the where can we find you first, and then we do the games.
You're blowing it, man. You're blowing it.
Yeah, I feel like this isn't how this normally goes, but hey, who am I?
You're Aroah.
Yeah. So, I've been doing the World of Warcraft a lot. I have been playing some, not a ton, of Yakuza 0 on my Steam Deck, and that's been a fun time.
Did they come out with a new one recently? Like a Dragon.
Did
something.
they make one after Like a Dragon?
Yeah.
They announced Like a Dragon 2, but it is not out yet. I think that's what it is. It might have a different name.
I don't think another one's come out. But...
We did a story where they're actually not going to be they're not going to be naming it Yakuza anymore. It's going to be named Like a Dragon.
Well, that's
the name of the series now.
That's what the series has been called in Japan this whole time. So
yeah,
they're just kind of unifying the brand, and also it just makes a distinction from the storyline in the Yakuza games versus now, because while it is, yes, technically in the Yakuza world, you're not playing as was it Kazuma?
Yeah.
So like it just makes it easier to understand from that perspective as well.
Well, and also I bet the Yakuza over in Japan were like, hey, we heard this rumor that in other countries it's called Yakuza and we don't like that. And
oh no, they knew.
And
why would they not like that?
They had actual Yakuza as consultants from the beginning of the series.
Oh, good. I thought they might not like it because it would draw attention to them.
No,
damn it! People hate that we're out there and doing great things for the community.
Yeah, it's like it's like better than The Godfather for organized crime in New York in the
publicity,
the early 1900s.
I gotcha.
Early
1900s.
Yeah,
that's when
that's 30s, 40s.
Yep, that's when the Godfather was made.
No, he's talking about Yakuza, I think.
No, I was talking about, because by the time The Godfather was made, like, that sort of organized crime didn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Because it was a throwback to the early 1900s in the heyday of the Italian mafia.
Oh, okay. I think it still kind of existed, but not as prevalent.
It was not, yeah.
Anyway. Anything else did you play?
I mean, if you could say playing, I every once in a while will start Hatsune Miku Logic Paint S.
What?
It's just Picross.
Oh.
But it's Miku. And I like it.
Well, that's good. I'm happy.
They
added
mouse support recently, and it makes the game possible to play on PC.
Oh, good. That's
originally
nice.
A Switch exclusive.
So I know that Connor for a while had a Surface.
Mm-hmm. I still have one. And
you said that playing games like that on your Surface was amazing because of the touchscreen.
Yeah, it was really intuitive. Civ 5 and Civ 6 are my prime examples of like where it really worked great, but there's all sorts of games that, as long as it can handle it, run really great on it.
So I'm telling you, Aroah, to get an older Surface. So
why would I do that?
So you can play your Picross game.
So you can just poke.
I have a Steam Deck.
Oh, right. Oh, that, yes.
But Surface bigger screen.
It was designed for controllers in the first place.
Was it?
Surface bigger screen, poke screen.
I don't need to. No.
We're going to move on. We're going to ask Connor, what game did you play this week?
I do have just a quick side note here. I think it's funny Aroah mentioned getting a monitor stand and a shock mount, because I too got a monitor stand and a shock mount this week, like one of those desk clampable ones. Except mine's great. Like I could rotate my mic. It came with the dual pop filter thing. It's nice.
you kept saying monitor stand. You meant mic stand. I was like,
Yes,
monitor
mic stand. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That's my bad. And it's great. I'm sorry that you're having issues with yours, Aroah.
Yeah, I mean, it's I should have just done more research before I went need mic stand.
Yeah,
So-
like if from what I've found is you get the newer stuff, which is called that's the brand, the newer. And that's typically shitty. Like you're paying you're paying under $50 for a mic stand, but you're getting what you pay for. I think probably the sweet spot for a mic stand or something like that is around $100. And
I saw some that were like about $50 that they were just the mic stand. They didn't come with any accessories or anything, and those seemed like they might be okay.
yeah,
I was like, I will not lie, I was trying to be cheap,
yeah.
and I shouldn't have.
I kind of wanted the Elgato mic stand, and then they're like,
No.
it's like $300.
Yeah,
No.
I saw that, and I was like, no, fuck
It
you.
looks amazing. Like it looks very well, like all of Elgato's products. It looks really well made. But anyway, Connor, I'm sorry I interrupted you. You got your mic stand, and you got a shot.
And then I played some video games. Some of those video games include Halo CE on Legendary with all skulls on, including the new ones. We did it. We finished our project.
Good.
And boy, am I excited to not need to play Halo for a while now.
Yeah,
Because it's exhausting. It's exhausting playing that much Halo.
I bet, and especially with all skulls on, that just seems like torture.
It seems less like trying to grow through a game with finesse and grace, and more like trying to force an engine to do what you want to do.
Yeah,
Which researching like how stuff works, like learning how loading zones proc and like where you could stand to be safe, that part was fun. But the rest of it sure was a grind. I'm glad I did it.
So it turns Halo from a first-person shooter into like a puzzle game, and I don't know if I would like that.
I mean, like if I was to play a first-person shooter right now, it'd have to be like a Metroid Prime or something like that. It'd have to sort of be very puzzle incentive. High on Life also comes to mind, maybe. But
yeah.
Besides Halo, I've also been
High
playing
on beating your wife, more like.
high on felony assault charges. Heyo. I've also been playing Red Dead Redemption 2, which if you have a Steam Deck and you're looking for a Breath of the Wild game that doesn't require an emulator to run, I think this is it. I'm not doing like campaign missions. I'm not worried about progressing the story. I'm just going out and like hunting. I'm doing the challenges. I'm making a boatload of money. All my weapons are gold already. I just barely caught tuberculosis. I don't even have symptoms yet. Spoiler alert. Whoops.
Yeah.
Go on.
I mentioned it when I played through it a couple years back, but you seem to be having a lot more fun with it because you do a lot more side stuff than I do. I found that game to be incredibly boring.
First time I played through it, I was kind of railroading through the main campaign, and I think that was a mistake. There's a lot more to this game than I realized at first. The hunting, the herb gathering, the crafting. It's a good game. I don't need to sing its laurels any more than it's already been sung, but if you have a Steam Deck and you're looking for a good portable game, runs pretty goddamn fantastic.
Good.
What about its Yannies? Would you
What?
sing its Yannies?
What?
Oh,
What?
because Laurel and Yanni, yes. I
Yeah.
actually do that all the time, and people usually have no idea what I'm talking about, so I appreciate you doing that. I've also been playing StarCrafts, which is to say both the original and the new one. You could just play the original StarCraft on co-op now. Like, people made all the missions two-player accessible. It's been incredibly fun in the same way that StarCraft can also be a stressful game. We have more than once ran out of minerals on the map and been like, okay, every unit now counts immensely.
That's good. Yeah, because if you run out of stuff, you can't then continue to play.
Construct additional pylons.
Precisely.
There are some games. I think the original Dune 2. I think it's Dune 2. And a lot of those older games. I don't know how StarCraft works, but the NPCs that you're playing against actually don't collect resources. Like they look like they're collecting resources, but they're actually just getting a certain amount of resources every couple minutes. And so if you run out of resources on the map, they will continue to get resources, and there's pretty much no way you can win. I'm not sure if that's how it works with StarCraft.
I believe StarCraft 1 is a combination of kind of the two. They will both harvest minerals as well as just getting more minerals in the start.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they just get tossed minerals throughout. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. I suspect that's how it works, though.
Yeah.
Anyways, those are the games that I've been playing. I got a lot of podcast editing I need to do that I just haven't been doing because I've been a cowboy.
That's good. We're gonna move on to me. I played some Overwatch this week. I'm all right at that game. I'm okay. And then that's about it. There's nothing spectacular happened other than I just played some Overwatch and my friends don't want to play games with me. And then I decided to start Persona 3 Portable because a bunch of my
'Cause
viewers
it came out on
no,
fucking
it wasn't.
Game Pass.
I didn't want to. I was like, I am going to, because I played 4 Golden. I played 5, not the Royal version, just 5. And I was like, you know what? They're long games. They're fun. I like them, but I don't want to spend 100 hours playing a game. And then I was playing Overwatch or something, and my viewers were like, hey, are you going to play Persona 3? And I was like, what? No. And then another person's like, hey, are you going to play Persona 3? And I was like, fucking what? Why does everyone want me to play this game? So now I'm playing Persona 3 because I had like 4 people that told me to play Persona 3 separate from each other. Not like all at the same time, just like separately asking me to play that game. So
It's too bad you're playing the wrong version.
I know. I'd rather play the FES version or FES.
Yeah, you should play FES with the controllable party members mod and the HD textures mod.
But I don't care that much. I would prefer to play.
You're just gonna get the subpar experience.
That's fine.
You know
I'm
that
okay
a game
with
is good when the first thing people recommend you do is mod the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And I never finished it, but I played only on portable. But I was also playing on a PSP.
Yeah, and the portable version's fine. It's whatever. I'm not mad about it. You can tell though if you look at like some of those texture. Yeah, some of like there's a what I assume is bikes on the road, and I'm like, man, that is just a garbled mess.
Well,
That is
and,
awful.
Like I'm assuming you just like you don't walk between locations, right? Because it's the portable version. So you just have like a screen that you click on where you want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in Fest. It's like you just walk around
Oh,
in a normal RPG and all that.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that. I just it's they were asking me specifically to play the portable version because it came to PC, and I was like, okay, fine, whatever.
You wouldn't have played Fest anyway.
I mean,
Would have been too much of a pain. You were going, I have to emulate it. What if the emulator doesn't work and I don't have PS2 BIOS?
yes, I do.
Well, you would have lied.
You know that I do. I have all that stuff. Come on.
You like to lie to your viewers.
And then I've also played some Final Fantasy 11. Fun thing happened last night. I was in an area and I saw a notorious monster, and I was like, I am too low of a level to kill this notorious monster. So I pointed it out to somebody nearby. And the person was like, oh, okay, hey, thanks for pointing out the monster. And they went and they killed it. And I'm like, I'm standing there watching them fight this monster, kind of hoping that the monster will kill them, and then I can take the kill after they weakened it. But like 2 minutes into the fight, the monster uses self-destruct and kills itself. And I was like, what? I could have totally taken that monster. It was bad. But they didn't get the drop that they wanted, which was sad. Anyway, we're going to move on to some news stories. First things first, Connor.
I'm the realist.
No. I was going to say, Connor, thanks for bringing all the news stories because I contributed nothing this week.
Hey, man, someone's got to do work around here.
To be fair, the Microsoft and the Microsoft Direct, the developer Direct one, I was going to post, and
Thing
then
no one watched.
you posted it before I did.
I thought you were going to say that the Microsoft and the Blizzard one are basically kind of the same story wrapped into each other. And yes, but no, and no, but yes.
They kind of are. So we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about Microsoft, as you know. As we've said it before, it sure went from nobody wants to work to we're laying off thousands of employees really fucking quick. Do you want to talk about this, Connor?
I guess I can. I had all these stories open earlier, and I've since closed that window. So let me just give you the skinny version here. Microsoft is one of those companies that are big. What do you call them? The alphabet soup companies, whatever.
Yeah.
The ones who were laying off like a whole bunch of their teams lately, and it seems like a lot of those layoffs also include the team at Microsoft responsible for HoloLens. I think it's AltSpace VR or something like that.
Yeah, I see that.
So that sucks.
Well, they bought AltSpace.
I assume they just kind of like consumed it in that way that
Yeah.
Microsoft does. And
Pretty
it sucks that happened because it's not like they can go back to being independent.
Nope.
Yeah,
But it's also like it's not like anybody actually used AltSpace in the first place. So
It's because it wasn't a market friendly enough product. Did I have any of you guys used HoloLens at all, or any sort of AR for that matter?
No.
I used the DSi AR stuff. Does that count?
The what?
Barely.
The DSi had AR stuff.
Oh, like the Nintendo DSi.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I am gonna say that counts, but it's not really what I was thinking of. But yeah, it is an AR product. All joking aside.
Well, in that case, the PS Vita.
I played Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're joking, but it's making the argument that there is a place for AR. I did it on my PSP too. I used to play Mortal Kombat like on the L tracks, waiting for my train to come.
I do agree that like I think there's real potential for these devices in the market. It's probably like that with a lot of this stuff Microsoft just can't figure out how to market it. Like you said,
Sure.
It's having the same problem. We talked before about how the home assistant category has kind of become a remarkable failure. That Alexa and Google Home and all that the Google Assistant has been gutted at both of those companies, and really Apple is only keeping Siri around because it's just part of the package, right? Like they can afford to keep pumping money into Siri because they just get all the money up front by you buying an unbelievably overpriced device. So we haven't heard of any like gutting of the Siri team. Then again, there may only be like 3 people working on that anyway. But main point being that this is probably Microsoft trying to cut their losses. That also said, we don't entirely know. I don't think this really like explains how many people are left on the team.
Yeah.
It's just that they are cutting thousands of employees, and a lot of them are from the mixed reality team. And yeah, it's like you said, it's probably just because they can't make any money off of it.
I also heard that or read that Microsoft was also laying off a bunch of people from like 343. And so like a bunch of Halo developers, and so they had to come out with a statement this last week basically saying, no, we're still making Halo.
We're just having like 2 people make it.
Well, and there's also the matter of a lot of companies scaled up over the last few years, particularly ones that were making like entertainment or consumer hardware, because they thought, hey, like people are buying like laptops and they're buying games and gaming hardware and all this, and the companies were like, we've got all this extra budget, let's just throw it at personnel. And then it turned out that COVID didn't last forever, and now they're having to scale down personnel to keep those high profits. And this is how they're doing it. They're trimming whatever little fat that they can find here and there on various teams that aren't necessarily making a profit and may never make a profit.
Yeah. I
And
don't. I mean, I personally don't like it, and that's why I believe we need to have more unions so that we have stronger consumer protections.
yeah,
Or
well,
not, I'm sorry, worker
yeah,
protections.
yeah, and I mostly think that it's really unfortunate for the AR/VR space because we do need big companies like this to just throw money at it so that the technology can evolve. Uh, Prior to HoloLens, AR in general was pretty fucking terrible. Even though we joked about how like we used the DSi or the 3DS's AR tech or the PS Vita, those were impressive for what they were, but not particularly functional as usable or particularly entertaining products, at least not in my opinion. And something like HoloLens, if it were allowed to develop further, and especially with how chip makers are focusing so much on power efficiency now, like I am legitimately interested to see like where Apple goes, for example, with them having such power efficient chips to see what they're able to push through a headset like this that's self-contained, like with the HoloLens.
I
But
I think it's not gonna be a huge thing until like Google Glass becomes actually viable.
well,
And
and that
so
was the main problem, right, with HoloLens, that it even to try out the hardware, it was something like what $3,000 for one headset.
yeah, what I think is it's not gonna be like a consumer product that people are actually gonna want until like I can just get a normal pair of glasses or normal-ish pair of glasses that can do like an overlay and like sync to my phone or something like that so that I can be like, okay, I want to drive here, and it'll kind of have a heads up display telling me where I need to drive.
Oh, you think that the major problem or major hurdle right now is that all of these smart glasses that we do have on the market are self-contained glasses and not like a clip-on thing.
Well, not even that. Like I'm okay with it being a self-contained glass, but they're also like the HoloLens is just a giant friggin' headset you put on your head.
Yeah,
And
and I
it,
agree with you there that like it needs to be something that actually integrates with your daily life and doesn't make you look like a fucking stooge.
yeah. I mean, they're getting closer and closer to it, but I think we've got at least another decade before something viable like that
Well,
comes out.
well, have you seen there are Android they're not self-contained, but they're Android compatible so-called smart glasses that basically act as a little projector, and it connects to your Android device over some wireless connection. I'm assuming it's like direct Wi-Fi or something,
Yeah.
but then it can mirror your display that way. I think that uh, I think that's a good early idea. That's what I thought for the longest time was going to be the thing, was that you'd have a separate compute unit that sits in your pocket or even just uses your phone as that compute unit, and then your the glasses are essentially just a wireless display, or at least just a separate unit that all it does is just show images.
Yeah.
uh like the iPhone and Android both have shown that like with CarPlay and Android Auto, like those are both perfectly viable solutions. So just
Yeah.
essentially have that functionality, but put it in a pair of glasses, and I think that would be it's a hell of a lot more compelling than just putting Alexa in your glasses.
Yeah, that was dumb. Like cuz and what those frames are expensive too. The
Yeah,
Alexa
they
frames or
weren't
whatever.
they weren't ridiculously expensive, but it was just like, why would I care?
Mhm.
Why would I pay for that?
Yeah,
And
why would I pay a bunch of money for that whenever I can get that out of any pair of Bluetooth headphones?
and the real thing, and I know Connor's waiting for it and I know I'm waiting for it, is be able to replace my eyes with robo eyes.
Fuck yeah.
Like
Well,
that'd be great.
I even made the suggestion at work that for less than $300, you can get a Windows mixed reality headset, and that is enough to essentially give you infinite monitors. And like I think that that's a compelling concept for
Mm.
using augmented or virtual reality in a workplace environment, that it gives you the sort of flexibility that multiple monitors have, but you don't need the space or the budget, because instead of paying several $100s for multiple monitors, you're paying $300 for one headset for the user, and then they can use that wherever they have an outlet, basically.
See, that wouldn't be. Yeah, that's a interesting idea. I don't know if a lot of workplaces are going to go for it. I don't know how the tracking would work, and I know a lot of companies want to track your every movement. I'm sure they would still be able to, see what you were doing, but I know that with a headset on, some employers want to be able to walk up behind you and just see what you're doing. And with
I
a
see.
headset, you wouldn't be able to do that.
Well,
They just monitor your network. Like it'd be no different than it is right now.
So
Yeah.
I mentioned this story before, but when I worked at my first IT job, they were building a new building. They wanted the second floor to have like a hole in it, so like a railing so that they could look
Oh
down.
yeah, they wanted a panopticon.
Yeah, and the owner wanted to do that because he wanted to be able to look down and watch what everyone was doing on their computers. And I was like, "Oh, I hate that. I hate that so much."
So delusional.
Yeah.
Getting
Anyway.
back to the plot of the article here. Yeah, so Microsoft is blaming everything from the recession to the war in Ukraine to, whatever they want to say that they need to trim the fat on this year. And a lot of that has to also include the Altspace VR team, the Microsoft team, which is unfortunate because in inclusion to the deaths of these, Microsoft's also calling the team behind the Microsoft MRTK framework, which is the mixed reality toolkit. This is what they were hoping would be the open source tool that made their product marketable, which is like, hey, you could use our product, or here's the framework, make it work on yours. And with this, it's probably going to go back to a more proprietary market than it otherwise would have been.
Yeah. Before we move on to the next story, I will say if those headsets at the very top, if you look at that picture, those are probably the least egregious VR headsets I've seen.
Those are HoloLenses.
Yeah, but those are like $3,000, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've gotten to put one on. We had a demo of those at work for like medical examples. You could put one on and have someone's MRI scan be like in real time. It was practical. The demo tape that they showed someone looking at a network closet and like having all the port information just right there. So I would wear that.
Shit's fascinating.
That's awesome.
I would use that every day at my job. It would pay for itself probably within, I don't know, 2 months in just productivity alone.
That would be so cool for like going into it. Some of the network closets that we have at my work are disgusting.
Well, and there's even TeamViewer added this as like its own thing, which is how I got introduced to it. But HoloLens was using it in marketing too. The idea of someone on the other end of like at the time Skype call, but Teams call, could essentially annotate over your vision to give you instructions on how to do something physically in front of you without them actually having to be there.
I don't know if I trust Connor to do that.
Oh, shucks, it would be fine. If you've ever played Payday with me, I never used the opportunity to draw on someone's field of vision maliciously.
Now just take this paper clip and put it right in the socket right here. He draws a little red arrow.
It would be a John Madden experience for anyone on the other side.
And we're gonna move on to the next story, unless you had something very, very important to say.
I was just going to anecdotally say that the military dropped their contract with them because it wasn't giving them the output they wanted. And that's the exact sort of thing that you would like. I was a commander controlling a squad, and I was like, okay, here's where you should be focusing. And everyone has their specific drawn out instructions for them as augmented reality objects. Like there's practical uses for it. It's just not portable enough yet, I don't think.
No.
Yeah. You get like 2 hours of battery, I think, tops out of the HoloLens.
Oh yeah.
Can't
And
imagine
that's
that
just,
they're not fragile too.
yeah, like there's nothing about that makes sense from a practicality perspective with the military.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense except for maybe with trainings. Like with training stuff that
Yeah.
might work. Anyway, we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about Blizzard. Apparently they fired a WoW Classic lead after he protests employee evaluation policy. Again, this was brought
Yeah.
up by Connor.
Yeah. So talking about horrible and so first off, Aroah, do you play WoW Classic or do you just play WoW Original?
I only play normal WoW. Classic makes me want to rip my own spleen out. So,
God, you should play Final
I
Fantasy with me.
no, I don't
Stop
know
enabling
any.
him.
I don't know
Deep.
anyone who like works on this team. I don't. It sounds like Brian Birmingham might have been sort of like the Ian Hazacostas of WoW Classic.
Yeah.
Can you explain that for
Which
the viewer and the Reeton who don't understand what you're talking about?
Ian Hazacostas is like he's the guy behind. He's not. That's really not fair to say because there are a lot of people who pull different strings with World of Warcraft, but he's kind of like the face of World of Warcraft's development. If something is wrong, you go thanks Ian Hazacostas.
Oh, I see.
So, and this guy, I guess, was a lead engineer. But yeah, I know of this whole employee evaluation policy that it's talking about too, and it was that it's some like fucked up shit
Yep.
that I can't believe a company in current year even even put this up to consideration and to actually implement it. Like Jesus fucking Christ, why?
What happened? What happened exactly?
So
So
the dude man was basically told by his managers, "Hey, we have a bell curve employee evaluation here. You need to give a certain percentage of your employees bad reviews. It's a process that they call stack ranking. It requires managers to give about 5% of their employees a low performance evaluation to fit on a bell curve of relative performance, which is just disgusting, horrible.
That is, but if like let's say you have a team of like 20 people and they all do their fucking jobs.
Not according to management. They don't care about the output. They care about a boost in productivity.
They care about being on that bell curve because Activision
Because some
Blizzard.
manager who's never ran a team before thinks it's a good idea.
Well, and also they want to say, okay, you're at layoff time when they decide to lay off 1,000 employees. They want to say, hey, we're going to take this bottom 5% that got bad reviews because we forced your manager to give you a bad review.
This sure does sound familiar. I feel like I've heard this somewhere
Yeah.
recent. Huh.
it also is implied, at least in the tweet that they show in here, that it's somehow depriving those developers of quote their cut of the profit. So I'm assuming that it's kind of like in my workplace, if you don't meet certain performance standards, you don't get your yearly bonus, for example.
Yeah.
So I
yeah.
wonder if it's something like that too. That yeah, they're just using it as a way to sort of guide where profit margins end up going, which is just disgusting.
Yeah.
It's getting sick out there.
That's disgusting. And I know I've worked places where they would do stuff like that. Like if you didn't meet certain criteria, you didn't get your monthly bonus or XYZ. I remember it was another weird thing when I worked my first IT job. Our bonuses were tied to our PTO. So if I took more time off, like if the lower my PTO was, they would be like, oh, you're getting a lower bonus because your PTO was used. So if you saved up your PTO and didn't spend it, you would get a higher bonus.
My God, that's so fucking backwards.
It's
Yep.
weird.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
So many other
Brian-
companies are at least smart enough to be like, no, you got to use it or you lose it because we want to incentivize you to use your PTO.
That's
Please
how my
don't get
current
burnt out.
that's how my current
Yeah, I
job
mean-
is. That and Yeah, my boss is actually very good. I've never had a boss who has encouraged me to use my PTO so much, where he's like, "Please use your PTO in the middle of the year so that way we don't have to fucking use it all in December."
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So going back to the article here, thank you, Nathan, for another riveting life story. Brian
You're
Birmingham
welcome.
believes that stack ranking encourages competition between employees, sabotage of one another's work, and a desire for people to find low-performing teams so they can be the best-performing worker on that team. And it ultimately erodes trust and destroys creativity, which are all pretty spot-on points. Based on our earlier discussion, I think that's pretty on the nose. So yeah,
I
this is pretty... Go on.
I was gonna say I hate yeah, encourages competition between employees and sabotages another person's work. I don't want to be, and I never. Same with I'm assuming you guys. Like I don't care about promotions that much. Like I'm not gonna bend over backwards or try to screw over my teammates to get a promotion. And I hate that companies will incentivize you to do that.
I want to find the sociopaths. Those make the good managers.
That's true. That's true, and typically psychopaths. Continue.
So it's just like you said, though. It's if you're working on a team and everyone's doing their work, who cares,
Exactly.
right? It's are we missing quotas? Are we having breaches? No, who cares? And I think I only like care at all because I see this a little bit in my own office and feel like it's a bad smell creeping through. And there's got to be better defenses. So I guess join a job with the union's the best advice I can give. Brian Birmingham went to go and resign because he was being forced to do this, but before he could do that, he was fired.
Oh no, I get unemployment. Shucks and darn.
I kind of had the exact same thought for the guy. It's like it could have gone worse, all things considered.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds if I was going to go in to work and quit, I was like, I'm gonna quit today. And then I go into my boss's office and he's like, "You're fired." I'd be like, that's that's actually worked out way better than I thought it would. I'm gonna go get food stamps and unemployment. See ya.
Bye. But yeah, Brian Birmingham's quoted as saying that if this is the Blizzard that he needs to see implementing, then it's not the Blizzard that he wants to continue working at. He's quoted as saying that he'll continue to play Blizzard games, but I can't participate in a policy that lets ABK steal money from deserving employees, and I can't be made to lie about it either. So big props to Brian for being honest and, I don't know, wearing your heart on your sleeve on this matter, because it is a big deal. It's going to affect people's lives. And shame on the company for putting that noose around people like that.
And I'm sure he is going to find another job super quick.
The director of WoW Classic, yeah, I'm going to say that looks good on a resume.
Yeah,
good
probably.
job. Good luck.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll find another position.
Hopefully, Activision Blizzard King will get bought by some other company that will. Oh no!
They're getting just so if anybody doesn't remember, they're getting bought by Microsoft. And I believe, was it Activision Blizzard? There was another company who recently squashed unionization efforts, and I want to say it was Activision Blizzard.
I think they've been doing that for a while.
Aroah.
Robo-Roa.
I'm out of virtual memory.
Goodbye, Aroah.
Bye.
Thanks for being here.
Bye. We're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about before we talk about the developer thingy, the Xbox Developer Direct or whatever. We're gonna talk about the OGL.
Yeah, that's probably a good call.
Let's talk about that first. The OGL. We spoke about this a couple of weeks ago. What does it stand for? Open Gamer License.
Open Gaming License.
Okay. And that's a Dungeons and Dragons thing. Basically, long story short, the Dungeons and Dragons Wizards of the Coast people were like, we want to change our gaming license so that they can still use our stuff and have it compatible, but then there's going to be a lot of changes, and I don't remember exactly what the hubbub was about.
It's mostly them trying to get money out of it. Originally, it's like, you people want to support our game, and like, for free? Yeah, of course you could do that. No, we don't care if you're making money off this. Yes, publish stuff for our games. That's great. It grew the community. It gave options where there otherwise wouldn't have been options, which is the essential part of making a thriving community game live, certainly as long as it has now. But they got greedy, and as we recall from 2 weeks ago, that was universally disliked. And after they got, they said that they were doing, they had a really cheeky word for it. It was like the the OGL 1.2 survey is what they were calling all the feedback and criticisms that they got. It was all just one big survey, everyone.
Oh yeah.
After about 15,000 or so surveys were filled out, they got the impression that people were not satisfied with this change, and they were making it pretty clear. They're leaving OGL 1.0A in place, untouched. They're making the entire SRD 5.1, which is source reference document for D&D 5.1, available under Creative Commons. And you could choose which of these two is more preferable to you. For a lot of people, it's probably going to be OGL, unless you're making something like explicitly for D&D, in which case it might be the second.
Good. That's good, right? This is all good.
Yeah, it sucks that they had to be in this place in the like, it sucks that they had to try and find out, but this certainly is how a community gets together and holds someone accountable for their shitty decisions.
Yeah. If
Yeah,
only
this is
if only people would stop playing WoW.
Aroah.
well, it's something where like most of the time, whenever something like the 1.2 thing comes about, then it's followed up with, okay, sorry, we'll just do like half of what we said we were going to do, because it's like almost like a bait and switch, but they expected it to go badly. It's very unusual that something like this happens where they were genuinely blindsided by the sound of it. Like they did not expect to have this much of an uproar. And for everyone, literally, they have stats in this article. It's like 88% of people don't want to publish anything under OGL 1.2. 89% are unhappy about us revoking OGL 1.0A. Like they did not think it was going to be this catastrophic. They were probably expecting a lot of players to just be kind of annoyed, or maybe have like a vocal minority. But yeah, it's pretty satisfying to see the tabletop community, even though I'm not super big into it. It's just great to see any group really standing up against the company that holds the rights to the thing that in a lot of cases is like their livelihood,
For sure.
you know?
I wouldn't be surprised to see D&D try to slowly make changes to these announcements that they've made over the next, half a decade or so, and hope people don't notice.
Yeah.
However, I sure hope they remain vigilant in making sure that they don't pull this crap again. I think I smell smoke. I'm gonna be right back.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Just make sure everything's okay. I'm gonna check on that.
And
Yeah.
we're going to move on.
well, I just wanted to add just one last little thing, was that I do think the writing's on the wall now. Like
for Dungeons and Dragons, or
yeah, that they like the player base knows that Wizards of the Coast is willing to make some really fucking gross policy decisions. And I think that it would almost be foolish to just assume that they won't try what Connor mentioned. It would be foolish to go in and naively expect that, well, D&D is saved, everything will be okay now, and not that 5th edition is going to come around and the SRD for that won't be Creative Commons. It'll be OGL 1.0B or something, and it's going to have
all the
some
stuff.
bullshit in it. Yeah.
So
It just scratches away the line where they're like, and we'll never change it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think 5 is already out. It'll be D&D 6.
They're calling it
Is it-
D&D 1 because
Oh right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
because Microsoft has normalized this awful behavior.
Did I say? I thought I said 6.
You said 5.
Whatever. It doesn't matter.
You said
It doesn't
5.
matter.
5's already
It,
out.
it really doesn't matter.
We're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about this Nintendo Developer Direct thing. Nintendo
It's
Xbox
Xbox.
Developer. Sorry,
All right. See, that matters.
So when I call
Xbox
a video
developer.
game a Nintendo, I'm doing it to be funny.
It's because Nintendo started the Nintendo Directs, and now like Microsoft is stealing their word, the Xbox Developer Direct. And there were so few games actually shown off here that I feel comfortable actually just talking about them.
Yeah, we'll be
Um,
done in minutes. It's not going to take long.
I saw there's a Minecraft Legends trailer, which
Yeah,
it's a thing that exists, I think.
Wait, is this just? Wait. So I didn't watch any of this because I just one, I didn't know it was happening, and by the time I knew it had happened, I went, "Oh, I don't care."
that's the right response.
Yeah,
Is
basically.
this looks like Dragon Quest Builders, but it's Minecraft, which that's what Minecraft already was. So I don't understand.
It's a more actiony Minecraft, Aroah.
It's like they're taking Minecraft and then Minecraft Dungeons and putting them together.
Yeah, it's less buildy Minecraft.
You still build, like there's still
It-
buildy parts, but
Yeah, that's
right,
what I'm
you're-
like. It's like Dragon Quest Builders because it's like it's base building, but is it like Minecraft? Is it Fortnite Save the World mode?
yeah.
I mean,
Anyway,
okay.
it looks all right. I mean, I'm not gonna play
Yeah,
it. I don't
I
care.
might. I like Save the World mode, and I like Dragon Quest Builders.
Yeah.
If you play it, I would be eager to solicit your opinions on it. That being said, I don't like. I got nothing against
I don't
Minecraft.
have a lot of confidence in it.
Well,
Right.
well, you'll be able to play it April 18th, 2023
On Game Pass.
on Game Pass. The next one is Forza Motorsport, which is another. I mean, it's more
Car
Forza.
The next one,
game.
the next one is Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah. The Hi-Fi Rush, I hear that's good. It actually is on Game Pass. It's on Game Pass now,
It looks
and-
fucking great.
and
it looks beautiful.
I'm going to get Game Pass just to play it.
it apparently is very fun. Our friend of the show, Parallax Abstraction, played it. He said it was great, and it's also made by the same guys who made The Evil Within.
Yeah, and fucking, you know, the Tokyo game, the one that no one played, Ghostwire.
Ghostwire Tokyo. I hear
Well,
that
To be
was
fair, it came out on the PS5, which
yeah.
only like 8 people have.
Yeah,
But it's a lot more vibrant colors than you would see in a game like Evil Within. A lot more. It looks like it's an action platforming game.
it's a rhythm action game.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's-
so
It's like a Bayonetta style like action brawler spectacle fighter, but everything happens in time with the music, and like you like do bonus damage and get better flourish shit if you do stuff in time with the music, and like the whole world is animated around the beat of the music. Like this is absolutely a game made for me.
yeah, I was gonna
you
say they
remem-
made a game specifically for Aroah. Got it.
Do you
Yeah.
remember that game you were playing, which is like the metal singing game? I don't remember the name of it. I was trying
Metal
to...
Hellsinger.
Hellsinger.
Hellsinger, yes. This is like if Hellsinger was also a Devil May Cry game.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I liked Metal Hellsinger. It felt I don't know. For me, it felt a little bit off. Like it needed to be tighter controls or something. I don't know. It didn't feel as nice as I was hoping it would feel. Maybe I needed to tweak my settings a little bit for the way that the swords actually interacted and the guns interacted with the timing of the music. But that's just me.
I wish that I could play this on my Steam Deck because rhythm games just work better on Steam Deck because it doesn't have all of the other audio hardware bullshit that a full-fledged PC has.
Does it not?
It's on Steam, but I ain't paying $30 for it whenever I can pay $10 for Game Pass.
That's true. That is fair. They did a 10-minute trailer, which was an official gameplay trailer, which I like, for Redfall. Did either of you watch this trailer?
I'm skipping through it right now, and boy, this sure does look like an E3 game trailer, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a shooty game. You just...
What? That's
If a
not fair.
game-
It's Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, it's Left 4 Dead. If a game had that lighting, I would call it like borderline unplayable, but it sure does look like a cinematic experience.
Yeah, it.
But it's
Horror.
it's like Left 4 Dead.
Yeah,
It's a Left 4 Dead game. I looked at. I didn't actually even know that this was part of it. I went. I was on Steam and I just saw it in like the featured section and looked at it and I was like, yeah, this sounds pretty cool. I'm not gonna play it because I don't have 3 other people that I would want to play a game like this on any regular basis with. And if I
but
did, I'd just play Left 4 Dead.
you have 2
Right.
people right here.
Yeah, we need 4 total, and only 4. If you have 5, then it doesn't work because all these games are developed just for 4 people for some fucking reason.
I don't.
Friend
Yeah,
groups only have 4 boys. Me and the boys means 3 plus me.
yeah. Why can't they have like a 3-person team?
I'm
ever?
just saying, why can't they have 8?
Or like
Why
variable.
can't- yeah, just make it to where you have a max of 8 in like every co-op game. Like no one's. I don't feel like anyone's ever gonna hit that 8 cap, but like everyone's gonna have like 5 or maybe
No,
6.
The people who are gonna hit the A cap are people who are like, "Hey, what's up, guys? I'm streaming. Here's my open game," and it's just gonna be madness. And
Yeah, no one
I
cares
get-
about those people.
but like as far as like just a friend group trying to play a good game, like if Dark Tide didn't have a 4-person limit for some arbitrary reason, it'd probably be a better game.
Yeah. You know, one of the main reasons I stopped playing Phasmophobia on a regular basis is because the player
5.
cap remover mod got taken out. You can't use it anymore.
Oh, really?
They added anti-cheat so that the mod stopped working, so you couldn't remove the player cap. 'Cause I was playing with 5 people all the time. It was great.
And you
I
think the
thought
developers would be like, obviously people want to do this. Why don't they want our money?
Yeah, I don't. That's a whole other tangent. I don't understand the developer of Phasmophobia. I think he's kind of got his head up his own cock a little bit, but
I thought it was
That's-
5. I thought there were 4 people that would show up, and then there was a. Did somebody play as the ghost, or was that a mod too?
that was also a mod.
Oh, okay.
It is 4 players. You get 4 people by default, and the ghost is just AI.
I see. Well, I think Redfall looks fine. It looks like a fine game that we'll have access to, and I might play it. It's just getting again, as you were talking about, like you want 8 people, but for me, like getting just 4 people together, including myself, is difficult because we all have jobs, and like Connor lives in a different time zone and goes to bed early, and Durga works like 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. all the time. So just getting 4 people together is near impossible. Aroah doesn't play games with us.
I wish Aroah
Hey.
played games with us. I miss Aroah.
Hey,
Yeah.
well, I'll talk about that after the podcast. So
Oh, okay. And does anybody care about Elder Scrolls Online?
God, though.
God, no. Okay, we're
No.
moving on. It exists.
I love
It's
that they're
not
going
even-
to Necrom. Like, I love that they're giving Morrowind some love. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I love about it.
yeah, don't care.
I mean, I wanted to like the Elder Scrolls Online. I got it. I bought it, and it's one of those games where you buy it and then you can just keep playing. You don't have to pay monthly, which is nice. But I just never got into it, and I know a lot of people who really like it, but I could not get into the Elder Scrolls Online. But yeah, so the Elder Scrolls Online exists, and then that's everything. That's all of our stories.
We did it.
We
We
did
talked
it.
about all the news.
All the news that has happened that we care about in the last
Hey,
2 weeks.
Justin Roiland beats his wife.
Yeah, that's another thing that is bad. We can't say that he definitely does. We can say allegedly he does.
Justin Roiland beats his wife.
Allegedly. I don't want to get sued by Justin Roiland.
Justin Roiland beats his wife.
Stop it, Aroah. Bad Aroah.
No comment.
But
Justin
yeah,
Roiland locks
it's
his wife in the basement and hits her.
I don't know the full story about what happened. But there are allegations that the guy who made Rick and Morty, and also High on Life, right? He made High on Life.
Squanch
Uh,
Tendo games or Squanch Games,
Squanch
I think it is
games.
now.
They're
Yeah.
not
Because
Squanch Tendo anymore.
Nintendo was
'cause
like, "Hey, no."
Yeah. They
his
have.
last role on Rick and Morty was being Mr. Poopy Butthole
I see.
and
And
going, "Oh boy, I'm broken. Oh, I'm broken," and it's great.
and
Now he is broken. His career is over
yeah, Justin
because he
Roiland
beats his wife.
allegedly.
Justin Roiland does.
Stop it, Aroah. Are you trying to get me sued?
Nobody listens to this podcast. You're fine.
There is one person that listens to this podcast, and they're gonna report me. But
They
yes,
should report Justin Roiland for beating his wife.
I think that's already been reported.
Just
And
Nathan calling the police on himself.
Cartoon Network, I think, has cut all ties with Justin Roiland.
Correct, because he beats his wife.
And is Rick and Morty now canceled?
No,
No,
they're
they're
just
just
going to
gonna
recast
and
the entire cast.
That's
Hey,
it's gonna
Aroah,
be a disaster.
I've heard you can do a pretty good Rick and Morty impression.
Yeah, I mean, you heard I just did Mr. Poopy Butthole like perfectly.
They should
So
know what
Yeah,
they should do.
you should
Ooh-wee.
apply.
No.
dang,
They should use AI Justin Roiland. Like
They should.
use his likeness.
I think
it's fine.
the
The
problem
dialogue is the same in every episode anyway, so
Right.
that's not fair.
that's
It's actually a good show.
the problem is that if they did that, then they would have to pay him money, and I don't like the idea of him getting money if the allegations are true. I like the idea of him not having money.
They just take the AI voice lines and they pitch them off just slightly differently, and then they say they're not using Justin Roiland's voice; they're using the characters' voices.
No,
Right.
what they need to do
And
is
then Justin Roiland can't do anything about it because he's in jail for beating his wife.
they need to buy the license for James Earl Jones AI and then
Yeah,
have him voice all the lines in Rick and Morty.
Rick, I need you to buy me that sex doll. Okay, how much for the sex doll for my nephew?
Anyway,
grandson.
grandson,
Yeah, whatever.
is that
What, man?
I've never
Fucking
seen
whatever.
I've never seen Rick and Morty. It's just way too like spastic for me.
I assume what's going to happen is they're going to start the next season off, and like Rick and Morty are going to fall out of a portal, and they're going to go, "Dang, Morty, sure is weird that we went to that world where our voices got changed, and so now we just sound slightly different forever." Yeah, Rick, that's pretty unfortunate that I just sound like a slightly different person. Ah,
See,
guess we just have to
Aroah, you
move
could
on
do
now.
you could do it, Aroah.
I fucking told you, like, Aroah is, I hate it. I hate giving him compliments, but he's really good.
Damn it, you talented bastard.
Like, you should seriously, like, send in a clip of you doing the voices.
Here's
Oh,
my
man.
friend's podcast. Don't listen to the podcast. Just listen to the end.
Don't
Just
listen to the part where he repeatedly says Justin Roiland beats his wife.
Just listen to that over and over again.
Hey, Aroah, all you have to say is I'm not gonna beat my wife. That's the Aroah difference.
I told you my idea for a Subway commercial, right? After Jared left. And it'll
It's just Nathan being like, you know what I don't do? Molest children. Eat
Yeah.
fresh.
Well, no, it'd just be like me walking up and like having a Subway sandwich in my hand and be like, I don't even like kids. And and I don't think they would go for that. But anyway, I want to say thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Aroah,
Yep, no problem. I was here.
future voice of Rick and Morty, and thank you for being here, Connor the Cyberpunk Monk Bash.
Don't forget about us when you made it to the top, and I'm always looking for voices for my podcast, which you voiced in before. Thank you.
I did do that once.
Yeah,
That
do
was
it
a
again.
lot of fun.
I like it.
All right. Thank you guys for being here. We'll be back next week, hopefully, talking about more video game and tech news. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Morty, I turned myself into a felon, Morty.